So it took me the entire season and an NBA suspension to finally talk about the guy from earlier, Cameron Johnson, and now the guy right now, Jaxson Hayes. But here we are. I touched on Hayes back when they drafted him. I don't remember anything I said there. Look, the Pelicans drafted a 19-year-old center in 2020. So it went exactly how you'd expect it to go. Was Hayes that good? Well, the advanced stats like him because he was very efficient. I mean, he did shoot 75% at the rim. That's nice. Was he some defensive force? Did he show potential defensively? Outside of his athleticism, probably not. But his athleticism is why he was drafted where he was. So he's going to have to catch up when it comes to the IQ of how to play defense and stay in front of guys and defend a pick and roll and keep the ball handler in front of you, but also like kind of keep an arm on the roller. Basic big man things. But again, he's 19 years old. The Pelicans had to have known what they were getting with this guy. I mean, Mo Bamba was 19, and his defensive projections were way higher than Jaxson Hayes' when he was picked, and he went through the same thing as well. Like, it's just tough to play NBA defense as a big guy. So I guess we shouldn't be too hard on Hayes. But then it becomes interesting to me, because then it starts to be, okay, well, Derek Favors clearly the better option at center for these guys right now. I mean, everything about them is better with Favors. I mean, when Favors is in there, the Pelicans are like 5th in defensive rebounding percentage. When it's Hayes, they're like 25th. That's not an exaggeration. You can look up the on-off numbers for all that. You also don't have to worry about Favors at all when it comes to setting screens, knowing how to defend, all that stuff. All the boring big man things that every big man knows or has to know how to do. You don't have to worry about that at all with Derek Favors. And where we are in the NBA nowadays, you can typically just find a center like that on the open market for somewhere between $5 to maybe $10 million. I mean, you're talking Daniel Tice, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Alex Len, Dwayne Dedman. I have to imagine that Favors is not going to be making $16 million after this year, so he'll probably join this group as well. Whiteside's contract is going to be interesting. I feel like he believes that he's worth $20 million. In reality, he's worth like $7 million. If we look at some guys who are going to be free agents, Tristan Thompson, Marc Gasol, Aaron Baines, Dwight Howard, that's an interesting one. We'll see what he does with the Lakers. Robin Lopez has a player option. Mason Plumlee is going to hit unrestricted. Bismack Biyombo. The reason I name all these guys is because it's like, is Jaxson Hayes going to be better than that hodgepodge of centers who you can get for cheap and who can just come in and do the normal center things for 20 minutes a game or 17 or 18, depending on what your team is? I don't know. I don't know if Jaxson Hayes is going to be better than those guys. I mean, the avenue for him being better is he's basically Clint Capella. He can switch across a bunch of positions. He can defend the pick and roll. He can protect the rim. Makes you better as a rebounding team. He boxes guys out. He sets really good screens. But just because we say that you can do those things, just because you have the template of the type of player who can do that, it doesn't mean you're going to do that. I mean, we already saw Jaxson Hayes, who's jumped around a few different teams because he was athletic, to Willie Cauley-Stein, okay? Willie Cauley-Stein was supposed to come into the NBA as an athletic big man and revolutionize the position defensively and grab rebounds and block shots out of nowhere. And to be honest, Willie Cauley-Stein kind of sucks. So, is Jaxson Hayes going to go that route, or is he going to be able to do all the big man things that keep you in the NBA, even if they're not exciting? Because if he can, and he can combine that with the exciting parts of his game, you know, he's an alley-oop target, he can run in transition, he does have some potential to switch because he's really athletic, lateral quickness and all that, then he could be something pretty good, but I don't know. I don't know if he can do it. And the other thing to consider is, do the Pelicans really want to go through that? I mean, they were already competing for the postseason when the year ended. I mean, Zion already looked like a top 20 guy. Ingram took a big jump. Lonzo had a good year. It was up and down, but he was good overall, I would say. Drew is good. Favors is good, and I feel like they're going to re-sign him. Like, do you really want to play the whole "is this center good" thing? Like, this team's ready to go right now. I don't know if you want to deal with the 15 minutes a game where Jaxson Hayes doesn't know what he's doing. So either he gets better kind of immediately, or there's a chance he's on a different team and they trade him for, could be a pick, could be just a wing player. Like, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if Jaxson Hayes wasn't on the Pelicans next year. And I feel like his minutes per game already kind of reflected this. Earlier in the season, he was playing about 20 minutes a game, and the team was bad and whatever. But once the team started winning, his minutes fell off. In February, he averaged 7 minutes a game. So I feel like the Pelicans are already kind of going in the direction of, this just might not be the right team for him. Like, I'm not saying Jaxson Hayes is going to be bad, although to be fair, I have not been very high on him in this video. But it just might be a case of a team that got too good too fast for a rookie center who is going to take a little bit of time. Another thing that is not making me be super high on Jaxson is his the Instagram video when he did not make the Rising Stars game, which, first off, why are you upset about the Rising Stars game? I don't know. But he looked very much like a 19-year-old in that video. It's not a good sign, especially when you're talking about a team that is winning right now. Especially when you're talking about the characters of this team. I mean, Alvin Gentry has been around for a long time. Zion is the same age as Hayes, and he is way more mature, apparently. Lonzo was mature right when he was drafted. Ingram's a good character guy. I'm not saying Jaxson Hayes is a bad dude, by the way. I'm just saying that video, it just might be another sign of he's not ready for this right now. He's not ready to be on a team that has expectations of you got to be a professional every game. So yeah, if we can get back to Hayes, the player, a little bit. I mean, his free throw shooting seems okay. His percentage was good in college. He shot more than 0, so that's nice. Does that project him as a shooter? I don't know about that. But if he can make free throws, then that's cool. Mentioned earlier, his finishing around the rim seems alright. And that's besides just the dunks, of course. Is he going to be able to draw a lot of fouls? I think that could be an underrated part of his game, because you would think that if he can be a real force, finishing plays and alley-oops and stuff, that he could also draw a bit of contact. Yeah, it could be a possibility. I mean, he shot 100 free throws in 32 games for Texas. Okay. And he shot about 3 free throws a game in the NBA so far. Has he shown anything as a playmaker? Maybe. Like, he has busted out a couple of passes while rolling to, like, a guy in the corner. It's a pretty obvious pass, but it's a pass to an open shooter nonetheless, so there's that. But, call me crazy, I'm not exactly expecting Jaxson Hayes' playmaking abilities to take off in the NBA like that. So, yeah, again, I'm not saying he's going to be bad, although I'm not saying he's going to be awesome either. I think he could just be an okay enough center, but I just don't know if the Pelicans have time to wait for him or to give him the minutes that he'd really need to get better. So that's pretty much it. Talking about player comparisons again, I think the high end would be Clint Capella, Tyson Chandler. A level below those two, Tristan Thompson. A level below him, Hassan Whiteside. And then the super low end is like Damian Jones. And then I guess better than him would be, like I said earlier, Willie Cauley-Stein or something, We'll see. We'll see with Hayes. I mean, he could be something, he could not. Would it have been a little more exciting if the Pelicans drafted almost every guy picked immediately after Hayes? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even just Cameron Johnson, I think, would be more fun on this team than than Jaxson Hayes, but they picked the center. So that's what we got.